This afternoon, government has justified the additional spending cuts rolled out by the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, describing it as a significant measure within current limitations. The cuts, according to the Finance Minister, will help save the economy about 3.5 billion cedis this year. But some have described it as not enough, especially if managers are really committed to matching revenue with expenditure. But the Deputy Minister of Finance, Abena Osei Asare, disagrees with this.
The minister mentioned that as part of measures to rationalize expenditure, we were going to look at items that we could cut. Our expenditure budget is made up of these items: compensation, interest rate, and goods and services, and capital expenditure. Compensation is the salaries, wages, and pensions that we have budgeted for the year. There's no way you can cut compensation. And interest payments are the payments of the interest on our loans that we envisage to pay in the year. So that's one too you cannot touch. So you are left with your goods and services as well as your capital expenditure. Your goods and services and capital expenditure is goods and services, I know, is around 8-9, and then your capital expenditure. So for us to make a cut of 3.5 on our discretionary item, it is very, very substantial. It is very, very substantial, and we believe it will also send the right signal and message to all the ministries, departments, and agencies to work within the space that they have, so that at the end of the day, even though we've been hit by these double items, these double whatever, how do you call it, phenomenon or challenges, like the COVID-19 and the Russian-Ukraine war, we still want to live within our targets that we set in the 2022 budget with a fiscal deficit of 7.4% of GDP. So these are the measures that we believe if we should put in place in the expenditure area, and then in the revenue areas, also increase the revenue mobilization through the introduction of the e-VAT, e-commerce, e-gaming initiative that is going to come on in April, and then also looking at rolling out the property rates in April. And we are impressing upon Parliament to also help us pass the various bills that we have brought to, the various revenue bills, including the E-levy, the fees and charges, and the exemptions bill. We believe all these things, one, will introduce efficiency in the way we raise our revenue and also increase our revenue if we pass the fees and charges and the E-levy as well. So having to increase revenue and cut our discretionary expenditure by this amount, we believe that it's a true measure of a government that is ready to live within its means and do everything possible to stick to its macroeconomic targets that we put in the 2022 budget, despite the many challenges that we have gone through and we are still going through.
Well, we spoke about the E-levy, and one would ask that with respect to the back and forth, and the minister said in the presentation that Parliament might rise in April, what concession is the ministry and government willing to make now to ensure that everyone is on board looking at the current challenge to pass the E-levy?
Okay. I believe with the E-levy, it's already in Parliament. It's gone through the Finance Committee stage. A report is ready, and we are ready to take it on the floor of Parliament. In coming to an agreement on the report, the Ministry of Finance, through engagements with several stakeholders, had to bring the rates down from 1.75 to 1.5%. And also the Ministry of Finance, through the minister and other stakeholders, have gone around the country explaining what the E-levy is all about and the kind of revenue that we'll be able to raise if the E-levy should go through. And so I believe that in that engagement, 2-3 things came out. One was the fact that some of our people did not understand the E-levy and what it entailed. And through that, Minister made it known to them, and then even said that government had considered the law in society such that if you do 100 and below, you're exempt from paying the taxes, even though the revenues that we raise will serve everybody. So clearly, Minister explained to them that this is more progressive than any other tax measure that we have brought into being since the MPP came into power, taking from the rich, sort of, and then giving and spreading for everybody at all. So we are redistributing income in this e-levy issue. And then secondly, what Ghanaians also wanted us to do as part of we passing the e-levy was to assure them that accountability and transparency will be key. And for that, we also assured them that there are various levels of oversight responsibility. In the area of Parliament, the various committees, because we mentioned that we're going to use some for roads, we mentioned that we're going to use some for the Youth Start program through giving employment to the youth. And so the Employment Committee in Parliament, the Roads Committee in Parliament, and the Finance Committee in Parliament can also play their oversight responsibility by making sure that whatever monies that we collect, we use it for exactly what we say we are going to use it for. And then when you come to the whole society, we also have the Auditor General also playing an oversight role by auditing government finances at the end of the year. And also now we have the RTI bill. If you want any information on how monies raised under e-levy, should it go through, have been spent, you can come under the RTI bill and demand for such information. So now the transparency and accountability rule has increased. And so they wanted that. And then they also wanted to see exactly what we were going to use them for. And so I believe that with the Ministry of Finance and the Minister explaining all these things, I know that we are ready. The Ghanaian citizen is ready to embrace and to support government in this regard. Because, like we said, we are in this together. We have to work together to achieve what we want to achieve. And what we want to achieve is a more prosperous life for our people and also to improve upon our economic growth, such that at the end of the day, we all together, we benefit. And remember, the verse Minister quoted in Jeremiah 29, verse 7, it says that if you live in a nation and you pray for the nation, as we prosper, everybody prospers. So that is how we are looking at things. We should all work together and make sure we all prosper together.
Well, finally, on the $2 billion support, is it meant to support BOG's reserve, or is more of an expenditure measure that you're using to deal with the challenges? Because some are saying that maybe, I remember the last time when the Deputy Minister of State met us here on the investor consent, one of the plan Bs that he suggested was that they will do a syndicated loan to shore up any challenge that they will have. Is this money for shoring the Bank of Ghana reserves, plugging in loophole, or helping government spending plans?
George, let me tell you, anytime we went to, all the times that we went into the international capital market, immediately we bring the funds inside. It is Forex that has come to the country. One, it brings some level of confidence so that people don't speculate and they get to know that at all times, if I should need this amount of Forex, it will be there for me. So one, to help reduce the speculation on the CD dollar depreciation, and also to improve on our general business confidence in the country. That is very, very important. Once they have that confidence, it will go a long way to stop the hike in the CD dollar situation. So it is not just, it is the general well-being, and to bring back the confidence that if I should need Forex at any time T, I will be able to get it. And also we'll use some for liability management, like we mentioned.
Well, some commercial transport operators in the Ashanti region are unhappy over the 15 peso reduction on fuel prices for the next 3 months. The Finance Minister, Kenneth Ofori-Atta, announced the government will, from the 1st of April, reduce petroleum price build-up margins by 15 pesos per litre. Despite government indicating the reduction is to mitigate the impact of rising fuel prices, these drivers are not convinced the decision would salvage the situation. Here's more in this story.
Finance Minister ba abonten ne ya obeka che say 15 pesos what here free so no. Se si am no wo kasa mi lodu am pagya me ni hwe e fen say go for there.
When I last checked the pump station, the fuel prices had increased from 10 Ghana cedis 10 pesos to 10 Ghana cedis 40 pesos per litre. A gallon now goes for 60 Ghana cedis.
What is 15 pesos here? What did you attempt? Into one con one salmon and the all can the oil or yash any pay with.
In fact, 15 pesos in the MY because fuel and no boarding. Committing the uncombatant bus. Committing to some man that time I took friend Mukra many paper and can be boy, sends 15 pesos a day because they knew 20 pesos a crack. And your man is a crank and fast also. I say 15 pesos
The 15 pesos reduction won't help us in any way. The passengers are still complaining.
Since I sky crackers can. Passing for time, crowd, you must say no more Sakasa.
For time, say I'm a mother for much Romanaja, if you much going to Mokoe. We must buy the same thing, and I must obey. Say, Fanasa petrol, you took 1 city Kuranoa 1 liter, a core 1 gallon 5. It is a 1 city Kurana 5 cities. They never talk 5 gallons.
Prices were on the high under ex-president Kofo's administration, and we kick them out. We will repeat same if the government continues to increase prices.
So, in the sana, Kofoma time, when you are a man for much of my pion McCoy. And I will also have the same thing on so yenti. If you are not cooking, you have never boa. I want to go knock on a baby.
15 pesos in India. If it's a year, but Ushima, senior petrol, no prices, no cost, and yet.
The reduction is good, even though it's little. The fuel hikes are global.
If it's a 15 media in case Sadia, but we get to home be and better. 15 pesos. Bantis on a day and yet MY or Quine Biaso because food and no the way boy, mean funny say Bia, within 1 week be 2 fuel more Ghana. So I yes, taxes on
the taxes on fuel are plenty. Government should reduce them. The reduction won't be helpful.
Into the time so per gallon and the number 16 cities. It's a dozen. Jabano here mobile. So Sebian people are Mayana to Abamano in the Kaka. What I say because Jumaya is here. Well, we are scaring quadrism. Anytime there's a better petrol.
We are not earning enough. Once fuel prices increase, the car owners also increase sales.
And favorite drivers, say I can't send carbon between me and will be still. You can't, your car no car.
Well, players in the hospitality business in Kumasi are recording good sales as Ghana plays Nigeria in the World Cup playoffs this Friday, which is today actually. Now, days ahead of the match, most hotels and guest houses in Greater Kumasi are fully booked in advance. Restaurants, pubs and other entertainment centers in the city are also expected to record a surge in patronage. We have more in this report by Mona Lisa Frimpong.
All major hotel facilities in Greater Kumasi are booked to capacity ahead of the Black Stars Super Eagles game. Hotels closer to the Baba Yara Stadium had reservations weeks ahead of the match. The close proximity to the stadium makes the facility the preferred choice to many guests. Bafo Ampelutre is general manager of Sitakel Hotel.
The time they book the fish, the Black Star match in Kumasi, we have a customers here. They are sports people and GFA people, so they book here first before the people coming to make the reservation. The time they came, all the place was full. So here is full.
International and football events often drive patronage of tourism products and services in Kumasi. Players in the tourism sector want events such as the soccer tournament to be organized frequently. David Onyina is regional chairman of the Ghana Tourism Federation and former chairman of the Hotels Association.
As people are coming, they will be going to the restaurant, the car rentals will also get some, the taxis will get some, the traditional caterers, which is the chop bars, are also getting some. So it is trickle down. It's a trickle down to the hospitality industry. I believe particularly those in the Greater Kumasi are all getting some.
There has been a spillover of guests to other hotels outside Greater Kumasi. The hoteliers are excited at the boost in operations when major soccer events are staged.
Even he was happy that the match, they fixed the match, the date in the match in Kumasi, because here, if you fit the match, it helps us. It helps the hotel people and even the restaurants and other people. So we like them to all the time face the match in Kumasi here. Hitherto the occupancy was a little bit low, but with the coming of the Black Star match, a lot of people are coming to Kumasi. According to my checks, most of the hotels in Ashanti, Greater Kumasi, like a Golden Tulip, Golden Bean, Mecklin Hotel, another hotel, most of the 3 and 4 star hotels are all full. And for the star 1 star 2 hotels, according to my research, they say that receiving calls that their people, it means that people are really looking for accommodation.
Facilities in the outskirts of the town are also hoping to have an overflow of soccer fans to their benefits. Well, let's see what happens on Friday at exactly 7 p.m. as we face off with Nigeria. I hope Ghana wins, of course. Black Stars. From Kumasi for JoyNews, Mona Lisa Frimpong reports.
And as you can see from Mona Lisa's report, the euphoria around the clash between the senior national team, the Black Stars, and the Super Eagles of Nigeria is high in Kumasi. Economic activity around the Babayara Sports Stadium are on the boom ahead of the epic clash tonight. Live FM's Emmanuel Braikweko engaged with some vendors around the stadium, and here's what he found.
That's a bad 1 hour near, but 1 hour in. Minya Prameneska bear 4 point something.
I have earned about 450 Ghana cedis since I came here an hour ago. There are a lot of people here to patronize these paraphernalia.
Timaka said, I pardon, now put Mujidi said, Menya Bri, Scadia Mujidi said, Menya Bri. Fancy Meton Ghana Honoma. Fancy and the Premisha send the Omgusho motor. Now I'm had a problem of being out to me, take it.
Business has been good since morning, but some people are complaining about their inability to obtain tickets, and that is preventing some people from buying.
Oh, I feel no over. It's in our hand to I just say, we will call 2 million, we will call 1.5 in here.
Business here is going on so well, unlike other places.
So economic activities around the Babayara Sports Stadium is on a gradual boom as the senior national team Black Stars faces off with the Super Eagles of Nigeria tomorrow. The vendors over here are even positive of a better market tomorrow. They are, however, questioning an increase of prices on these paraphernalia. Well, I just got mine. Go get yours to support the Black Stars win tomorrow.
And we'll see how it goes tonight at 7 p.m. where the Black Stars will face Nigeria. We're all just upbeat about the game and hoping for, some success. But you're still watching The Marketplace. We're going for a short break. We're right back with Tech Business. To stay with us. Today on Tech Business, we take you through basic tips on security for digital platform users. Henry Coppola, lead of tech firm Eyes of Africa, joins us for more, as always. Henry, how safe are our digital platforms in Ghana to start off with?
Thank you very much, Charles. So there have been quite a number of hacking issues that have been happening on our digital spaces, especially from people in Ghana. And I think that is just based on quite a number of precautions that a lot of people don't put in place whenever they have to be on the digital platforms. And so for me, it's really about how people can keep themselves safe on the digital platforms.
Great. And walk us through some safety tips to stay safe online.
Okay, so first of all, what I would always advise people to do relatively now is to have a proper email password. That's the right point where you get into most of these digital spaces. And so having a good email password is very important for you to keep yourself safe. When you're setting up passwords, it's better if you don't use your phone numbers or date of birth. You use You use passwords that are credible, has upper cases, lower cases, and special characters. And I think that I'd advise that you can just write some of these passwords in a book where you can always make references to them. Second thing is always to set up what we call the OTP, or this two-factor authentications on these platforms. It is very important that whenever you're setting up your account, you make sure that there's a two-factor authentication. What it means is that it means you can get SMS or you can use special codes whenever you are logging into any of these platforms.
Indeed, and of course, I believe that people are going to be taking notice of that. But you're talking about passwords. Give us an example. So if, for example, I'm signing on to a particular application with a password of, let's say, 100,000, is it okay to use such passwords? Because we've realized that so many people are using alphanumerics for their passwords, combining numbers with alphabets.
Exactly. So it's very difficult to hack into numbers that are like that. So I always advise that you use the alphanumerics and then add special characters. Some websites would actually tell you if the password is strong enough so it cannot be decrypted. But usually it's also very important that you write these passwords down so that you can always remember them at any particular point in time. So using alphanumeric passwords is very, I think I would recommend that, and you can always write them somewhere. What I can also recommend is that you can also try and put in place the two-factor authentication, like I mentioned already, which makes use of the phone verification method, where you can use your phone number to push in a code whenever you need to log in. So whenever somebody tries to log into any of your social media platforms, you can actually receive a notification. One of the things that you should realize is that your PIN is special to you. You're not supposed to give any PIN to anybody. I've had a number of hacking issues where people have been asking for other people's PIN numbers whenever these OTPs are sent, and then they give them to numbers. Your PIN is special to you. It's only for your login, and so your PIN should never be given up to you. One of the most important thing I've also realized.
Great. In just a minute, Henry, I want to find out from you, what about the advent of fingerprints and, eye-coded, recordings? Are these the best solutions to those who are very bad at passwords?
They can't be till you lose your phones, and so you have to always reset them. So like I always say, just have a second opinion when it gets down to the password. So whenever you're using your fingerprint or using your eye for authentications, there's always a second alternative which these logins would always give you. Right. So I think that it's better for you to use the passwords so you can sort of remember them most of the times, but keep them in a private book that you can have access to them whenever you lose them.
Henry, grateful that you could join us. We could do this sometime next Wednesday on Tech Business. Folks, that's how we end the marketplace. I'm Charles Aite. Many thanks for watching.